Telling the Tale is a podcast where I, Mitchell Farley Wolfe, the games guy, am joined by Dustin Jackson, the cartoonsman. Hey, Dustin.
Mitchell, here's one I should have said in the first episode. Fro-yo, yo-yo.
I don't even know where that's coming from.
It's on account of the fro-yo in the game, in the episode in the game.
Well, I'm glad that you brought that up because we might want to talk about a video game today. This is the podcast where we go through every single one of Telltale's mini episodic adventures. And we are finishing up New Tales from the Borderlands, which is not a Telltale game, it's a Gearbox game. And we're covering episode 5, Divestments.
Ooh, Divestments. What a name. You know what's interesting is I didn't know any... It's always a surprise to me to find out what the episodes are called, because I never know what they are. I never know what they're called, because I just go right into the next episode.
Yeah, I had to look them up on a third-party website.
Wow.
To see what they're actually called, because they don't give you a name at any point in the episode if you just press continue. If you go to the episode slot in the game, I bet you can see them, but I didn't do that.
I did not either.
Yeah, so each of the names of these episodes are all about business. It was like Capital Gains, maybe that was one of them. Capital Pains, I think, was the joke of that.
That's at least a pun. That's at least a joke that works.
So divestments would be the opposite of an investment. And it's something you strategically lose or let go of, I suppose.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's the right name for this episode?
I mean, I didn't even know it was the name of the episode until before a minute ago, so I guess it works fine.
Yeah, all right. I have to agree.
Yeah, not once did I think about it.
Yeah, so we're finishing up not just New Tales from the Borderlands and not just Gearbox's own attempt at Telltale as a formula, but we're finishing up Borderlands.
Right.
The Telltale-related aspects of Borderlands. It's been 10 consecutive episodes of the show.
That's a lot. That's not a small number, I'll say that right now.
It's not a small number, and I feel like we've been really high, really low, all over the place with this franchise.
Right.
So, Dustin, before we talk about anything related to the episode specifically, I just wanted to know, where you at?
Where am I at just in terms of, like, life?
Yeah, yes.
Or specifically life relating to Borderlands?
Yeah, it's the second one. We can talk about the first one after we stop recording a bit more if you like.
Cool.
Yeah. I want to leave that open as a possibility, but no, Borderlands.
I was thinking about how when we played the first Tales from the Borderlands, we ended that season with an opinion that, or at least this was my opinion, I don't know if it was yours, but I was thinking, like, you know what? I enjoyed that so much, maybe I will try out the other Borderlands games. Maybe they are closer to this than I thought they were. And then, after finishing New Tales from the Borderlands, it could not be farther than that. I never want to touch this series ever again if this is what it is.
Well, I would say that's negative then.
Yeah. Not a great spot to leave off on. You know what? It bums me out because if this is what we're getting, I just feel like we'll never get another Tales from the Borderlands as good as the first one.
No,
it's over.
Definitely not. To be fair, though, I also thought
it was
that
whack
less than 1 year ago.
That's true.
So it was like a brief blip of, oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'm still glad we got that really awesome one season.
The awesome one season was awesome, and I'm glad that it happened.
Yeah.
So, this episode was probably my favorite since the first episode.
Okay.
But it had a lot to say. We're about to get into it.
Ooh.
And a lot of what I think it had to say is not good. Like, I can't... Do you feel what I'm feeling about that?
Maybe we'll get into it, but I kind of have the same feelings as I did last week, where this episode was not bad. It was like fine, but I'm just so done with these characters in this story that I feel like I liked it less than I would have. Like, I already said basically the exact same stuff yet last episode, but it's pretty much the same here. I'm just sick of these characters. I don't like them.
Yeah, I
don't care for the story.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit about... Like, it's the big climax of the season.
Yeah.
It's the big final episode. And one of my notes I had written down was, man, remember that cool big final battle in the first season?
Well, yeah, remember when Reese and Digital Handsome Jack were, like, just hashing it out in the fallen Helios ship?
Yeah.
That was an amazing scene. That was a very impactful scene.
It's great. It felt like the first season, despite being Borderlands, was able to take itself seriously and give a story you give a shit about. Here, we're at the last episode, and there's still this just joking and quipping and fucking around.
They do that.
Ugh, I don't like them.
Yeah.
Even though I do think this episode is better than, like, most of the episodes in the season.
Definitely.
It's still just... It's just everything that I dislike about it still just coming to a head. Like, it's less about the episode being worse and more about my patience being at its thinnest.
Yeah, so they do different things with each of the three major characters.
Yeah.
The thing that we were talking a little bit in the last episode of the show about was the possibility that we did not believe in of it pulling a Walking Dead season 2, where it seems like a lot of these choices, a lot of these narrative moments that have led up to the final episode don't mean much, but then when you see what the final episode is, they all coalesce into a stronger, united meaning.
Right.
And we were wondering, is this possible? Can this happen in New Tales from the Borderlands? Have we been given any indication it might happen? Although, to be given indication of that would sort of defeat its own purpose. It's supposed to be a surprise tactic. And we landed on no. No, it's probably not going to happen. And it did in a way that, to me, was not satisfying whatsoever.
Oh, do tell. I wonder if it just didn't register for me because I was just so checked out of everything.
Yeah, so it tried to, is what I'll say. So each of the three characters were done in a different way, and a lot of this happens, a lot of like what we were talking about before. Can you coalesce it into a like a meaning? Can you use those choices all of a sudden? It happened in Anu's third of the story. So the story starts where we left off before. Anu's chest had been impregnated with the shard, the healing shard thing. Right. And it's got its own personality, and it's talking to people now.
It's got its whole own little thing going.
Yeah, it's got stuff to say, and it seems like its voice is different than before.
Yeah.
But it's a good voice. I like this one more. The voice that it has when it's just talking to Anu in her subconscious. So Anu's in her subconscious, and she's like reliving a bunch of conversations she's had with people from earlier in the story, including her lab assistant Fong, who we only saw in the first episode, including Octavio in a moment with him that we had not seen because it took place before the story, and just everyone else that we met along the way.
Yeah, can I just say, I get what they're going for here, but not once did I ever feel like Anu, it was never implied to me that Anu was, like, this bad of a person. Like, not once. Like, yeah. It feels like it just comes out of nowhere, like, how awful she is to Fong. I'm like, in the first episode, they seem to be getting along pretty well. They seem like pretty good friends. And Anu didn't do, like, anything to imply that she was this just horrible asshole. I didn't buy it.
Yeah, so this is kind of what I'm talking about. It takes this character Anu, who it might work. This tactic might work if this was a one character story or even a two character story where we've really been Anu and we've developed feelings about who Anu is because we've made all these choices with her.
Right.
But if you compare her to Lee in season 1 of Walking Dead or Clementine or Bigby Wolf, she just doesn't. You don't get that much because if you divide it in 3 and you keep it like the episodes about as long as they normally are, which by the way, this episode was a little longer than normal, like 2.5 hours. I don't think that math checks out.
With the how long to beat?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a feeling it wasn't gonna, but you know, this episode was longer, at least. Like it felt like an episode that I guess more in line with our other episodes.
Yeah. Because everything else was a lot shorter. Anyway, because we don't get that much time with Anu or any of these individuals as individuals, and we have to keep like, I think the thing that kills this game, other than the jokey tone, I don't go for it, but the thing that really kills like the core of what the game is for me is that I'm constantly being shifted between making choices for 3 different people that contradict what each other would want out of the situation. So when something happens in the story, it's like, oh, well, you didn't work toward this goal enough, and maybe you didn't do the right thing. It's like, okay, yeah, but that was my goal for Anu, and then you had me play as Fran, who is going to want different things. So like it just keeps betraying its own focus on each of these characters.
Yeah.
3 is not a lot of characters. It might be too much for the scope of what this game's ambitions are, though.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, it came out before how it kind of feels like it doesn't matter how you feel about the characters. You just have to know, like, there's a right answer to playing these characters. And I don't like that for this sort of game. It goes against, like, the way we've been playing games before, and maybe that's unfair to say. Maybe this is specifically what they wanted out of a game like this, but I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan.
Yeah. And then it tells you like who these characters are. Whether or not that's how you think they are is irrelevant. And boy, I was just really baffled when this episode started, and it showed Anu just like yelling at Flong at the beginning, and like we knew some shit went down between her and Octavio, so that one didn't feel as out of place, but still, they made her out to be like a monster in that scene, and I don't feel like it gelled with the Anu I was playing as.
Well, so in one moment in that first scene with Fong, which is a memory, it was clear that the memory was changed because Anu said something to Fong like, "You're useless. You're completely worthless." And then Anu said, "Did I really say that?" And then the spark, the shard, whatever thing, says, "No, but that's how you it's how you sounded." So
no, but could you imagine if you did?
Well, yeah, yeah. It's kind of like that where I actually don't hate this. It's like she's thinking through her memories with the tampering of her emotional state in that memory.
Okay, I must have missed that. I was thinking it was just literally what happened and what she said.
Well, because like the thing that they said multiple times, which it kind of took a few times for me to get it, so I'm glad they said it multiple times, was that Anu has all these wounds and trauma, right?
Right.
From just being a person with a high level of anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that the shard tells her to do is like reevaluate your memories and look at the bad memories with compassion. So like you're now all of a sudden you're happier for the things you're sad about.
Okay.
And that's sort of like the joining vibe between all of the memories she goes through. And for that, I actually liked it until she woke up. For her side of the story, kind of like for some of these things, one of the people that she runs into in her memories is the psycho that she killed in the first episode,
Right.
by jamming the device into his head. And the psycho says, "You killed me," and Anu says, "It was in self-defense." And then the psycho says, "No, it was murder." And I'm just sitting there like, no, it was self-defense.
I can see how it might look like murder from his point of view, though.
From his point of view, I get it. He's mad, but it's not really him. It's like Anu's own subconscious producing her feelings about him. And like her takeaway from that was, oh, I should definitely have been more respectful to people around me in that moment. But like, no, it really was in self-defense. So now I'm watching you like be harder on yourself than you needed to be, and I'm supposed to think that's a good thing.
Yeah, this psycho was gonna kill you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, although that is a choice, so they're kind of trying. They're trying station wagon guy here with all of the people that Anu's meeting up with.
Right.
That's the attempt. So when we were saying, will that happen? Could that happen? This is them trying to. This is the attempt of it. Weirdly, I don't really think it happens nearly as much in Fran and Octavio's sides. It's just Anu.
Yeah.
But they have just as many choices.
Yeah. It definitely feels like it puts Anu in the main character seat.
Yeah.
And the other two are more... Like, it's all of their story, but the other two feel like supporters for Anu's story.
There's a line that the narrator at the beginning of the episode, while he's sort of like setting up how everything's going to happen, he says, "Fate has no patience for character arcs." And like, yeah, I guess it doesn't. That's true in real life and in this game.
I wrote down a line from the intro too. It's not one as I didn't have as much to say about it as you did about that, but I just wrote down, not every great story has a happy ending, and I thought, a great story, huh?
Mean. That's a little mean.
I was a little mean. I'm a little bit of a catty Kathy today.
Yeah, being a little catty Kathy today.
Meow.
I also wrote down another line from the opening, which was, "The rage monster finally dealt with her old crap." Referring to Fran. And the stupid story from last episode where she burns all the field oil and destroys a town.
You know what? Something I'm realizing is I feel like a lot of the humor comes from the characters we're not stuck with.
What do you mean?
Like, most of the humor, most of the jokes, anytime I like actually laughed are from like the Tedior guards or just like
the Tedior guards in this episode are on point.
There's so many good ones.
They're great.
And it just made me think, like, it sucks that I'm stuck with the worst characters in this game. I want more of these funny parts.
Mm-hmm.
But what are you gonna do? That's not the game they wanted to make, I guess.
No, they made a different video game.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's so many good Tedior guard moments.
Like the scene with the one conversing with Octavio in the cell.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy who's just like really uncomfortable by any kind of philosophical discussion at all.
But still, like, trying to talk to him about it.
Yeah, he's like, no, it's in the past, and you gotta be in the present.
Good on him.
Yeah, and Octavio's like, I'm depressed in the present too. And it wasn't enough.
And he's just like,
or my favorite was when Octavio finds out that he's not supposed to die on direct orders from Susan Coldwell because Octavio's supposed to be like bait for getting the thing out of Anu.
Right.
He runs around with a gun pointed to his head. Actually, it's Brock.
Good old Brock.
He's like pointing the gun at his own head. He's like, believe me, I'll shoot unless you let me pass. And all the TDR guards are like, dude, what do we? That seems fine, I guess. and then two of them point their own guns at their own heads. They're like, "You can play at this game, Octavio." It's a good one. It's
great.
Yeah.
You know what? I think these guards have been pretty good all throughout the series.
Yeah.
I love them. Give me a game about these guys.
The psychos in the first season versus the TDR guards in this season. They're both great.
Yeah.
There were a lot of... I can't say I liked the Anu thing that much, because like there were so many things where you had to like build a bridge of empathy between Anu's memory of herself and her memory of Octavio. And then the shard goes, "You just built a bridge of empathy." And then Anu says, "Yes, I constructed the bridge with empathy." And it just killed the whole, any kind of power that scene would have had, which it had potential to have power, but it didn't. I don't know.
This game's not about subtlety.
Yeah, so while Anu is going through her dreamscape, doing the cool narrative things, and Octavio is running around with a gun pointed to his head, trying to, I guess, find Anu, but mostly just running around. Fran... They're straight up just trying to kill Fran.
Yeah. She doesn't have this... They can't use her as a bargaining chip for Anu, so, just get rid of her.
Yeah, and they get rid of her in, like, a really dumb, slow way, where they're like, okay, well, you gotta go to the special room where we're gonna execute you, where we can make you feel bad about being yourself. And then, like, they have her freeze herself by trickery. Yeah, and then Rita Fulfolia comes back, and she's like, "Looks like you really shit the bed, huh, Fran?" And then leaves. Then she leaves.
She's fulfilled her role.
I was glad to see her again. She's very squeaky when she walks.
Yeah,
even if how much leather she wears.
Even if she didn't do anything, I still pointed at the screen and clapped my hands.
Yeah, we like her.
Yeah, we stan her here.
I guess. Yeah, I wrote down here in my notes, Fran's side is not very fun.
Yeah.
Compared to the other two, I feel like things are happening in the other two.
Yeah, I was hoping that Fran's whole scene would be a lot cooler.
It did culminate into what I thought was a pretty cool moment. Where
the battle with SponsorBot?
Yeah, so they through ingenuity and SponsorBot being mad at Fran for being mad, Fran kills the TDR executioners that are trying to kill her.
Right.
But then the SponsorBot, I guess, responds to so much of her anger that it becomes a big, powerful mech. And it makes me wonder in those moments, like, how seriously should I take the Borderlands universe? Do all these things just have mechs in them on, like, just in case they happen to become powered up enough to go mech mode?
Yeah, just in case,
How many other things are mechs?
Lots of things. Anu's probably a mech when it comes down to it.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, maybe...
It just never came down to it, is the
Maybe
thing.
Juniper the Ratch was a mech.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and then they jump into a 16-bit pixel style JRPG where it's a turn-based battle mode between you play as Fran against the sponsored bot.
Right. And you say you enjoyed this?
It was fun. It was fun to look at, and
it's something different
graphical
at least.
style, and it made me think a little bit about the choices, even though I think it was only 3 turns.
Yeah. On one hand, I think it really does come out of nowhere, so it's just like something they wanted to do for the sake of it, but I guess that's fine. Whatever, it's the last episode, let them do it.
Yeah, and Louis goes all meta about it, and he's like, might I suggest you jump into mech mode? Or, no, he says, suggest a new battle style, perhaps something turn-based? And it's fine, it's all just fine, Dustin. It's just okay. Like, the Borderlands belongs to a studio that owns it, and they wanted more Borderlands, so they made it. Why on earth should it matter that it isn't good? Like,
you know what? I guess you got me there.
We're 2 people who are not interested in Borderlands, like, just popping into their little play pal thing, and we're looking at them stack blocks, and we're like, you're stacking those blocks wrong. And then their moms get mad at us because we're 30 looking at some kids stacking blocks and yelling at them for doing it wrong. Like, why does it matter?
Stack them better. The last game stacked their blocks way better than this.
Does it? Yeah, like... man. Okay, we're doing so many games in this podcast that are like, a lot of these games, it makes sense that we're talking about it. I feel like we have a great reason to go in and talk about Sam & Max, for example.
Right.
Just, we as people are attuned to that franchise, what Telltale was doing with them, what LucasArts was doing with them before Telltale, the whole history of the thing. Walking Dead, I think we really, like, attached ourselves to it quite well, because we found out this does actually resonate with us, and we are in the audience, and we're simply not in this case. And if we have something bad to say about it, which we do, who cares?
Yeah, no, I agree.
I just get mad at myself for, like, being on this podcast. Like,
yeah, what were we thinking?
Why would I feel like expecting this game to be good is expecting your friend to wear a red shirt tomorrow. They have no reason to do it. They could, but, like, it's their own thing.
Yeah, you know what? I feel like maybe if they didn't want us to speak ill of it, they should have made it good.
There's a moment in the turn-based battle system where you can be given the option to use an assist.
Right.
And did you use the assist?
I forget if I used the assist. So let me just say, let me clear this up. I started this episode a week ago.
Yeah.
And I played through like half of it, and then I said, okay, that's enough for me right now. I'll get back to it soon. And then I didn't continue it until I had to for the show.
So what was the dividing point between the two halves?
I believe I stopped right after they met up with Stapleface later.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we're still in session 1 for Dustin right now.
Yeah, I believe I remember using the intern. I remember the intern showing up, but I might be...
Yeah, that was the assist. If you used the assist, I liked it. Fergus shows up and dances some free labor, and then it uses... you get an achievement just for that.
Yeah, that's fun. I like that.
You get an achievement for summoning Fergus. And I guess you can lose this battle. I'm looking at your choices here. You've uploaded pictures of your choices.
I sure did.
You and 100% of players punched Susan so hard. I'm looking at your Fran choice. I don't remember that.
Oh yeah, I was able to punch the shit out of Susan with Fran.
When?
In her office. It was before the shards went into her. Fran was just able... So first she rammed her with her chair, and then she got all up in her biz and just started punching the shit out of her.
I don't know if I got that.
Well, it says me and 100% of players did, so...
Yeah. Huh.
I guess you did.
Interesting. No, I was trying to see if we could possibly lose the battle, the JRPG one, because I got an achievement for it, which made me think that it was possible to lose. But
then, you got an achievement for winning.
Yeah, for winning the sponsored bot mech battle.
Right.
By the way, they were attempting to hype up. I think we were talking about how we weren't hyped, but they were attempting to hype up mech mode. Fran's mech mode.
Yeah. And guess
it only shows up in 16-bit sprite.
Yeah.
Do you feel a way about that? There's no model?
I kind of feel like it should have been something grander, but who cares? Whatever.
Yeah, I think the whole thing
it's not like I was
Fran's
looking...
backstory is like, you can't make me care about that. That's unfair to ask. It's illegal for you to ask me that, actually.
Yeah, it's not like I was, like, really brokenhearted that we didn't get to see mech mode. It's not like earlier in the season I was super looking forward to seeing mech mode happen. I just kind of assumed it would. And I guess it did.
Yeah. Something we've talked about before a couple times is that in order to put their own people on the development of this game and try to mimic the formula of a long dead video game studio in order to make a sequel to a game they must have really, really liked, surely they had like some grand plans of like, oh, this is the story we gotta tell with new Tales from the Borderlands. And I was looking around for the first 4 episodes or so, kind of being a little confused of like, okay, what was the story you wanted to tell? What was exciting for you to spend so much money and time and people hours on the development of this game? And I to the game's credit, I do think I understood it now in the final episode.
Okay.
I understand how... I think it's an executional thing where it didn't really come out in the way I bet it was planned to exactly.
Right.
But seeing the kinds of character growth that Octavio specifically goes through near the end of the episode felt significant to me. That's some good stuff, I'll say, about this episode.
I think I can agree with that.
Yeah, so after they all meet up, they all find Anu, and then they're just kind of like Star Warsing through some hallways with Louis, Stapleface, who was a guard because it had free gym membership.
Yeah.
So she became a TDR guard.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah, but she wants to help out on Anu. So it's the 3 main people, Louis, Stapleface. Is that it?
Yeah, that sounds right. The whole gang.
Yeah, so they go through some halls, and then Stapleface gets shot, and I very much don't care for this, because for the only time ever, Anu tries to heal Stapleface with the crystal, doesn't work.
Yeah, it just decided, nope, not gonna work this time.
The crystal has brought people back from actual death. Like, Anu was dead, shot in the forehead. And then the crystal brought her back.
Yeah, and Stapleface was shot in the shoulder. You're telling me you can't do anything about that now?
It's the shoulder that her heart is not on.
Yeah.
It's her right shoulder. That's... People... Octavio shot himself in both legs, in the thighs, and kept walking.
Yep, and Anu shot him right in the heart.
I guess you don't have to do that. I did that. I had Octavio shoot himself in the legs twice.
Yeah. I had Anu shoot him right in the heart, and he was fine after.
Yeah.
But nah, Stapleface said, sorry, you gotta die. Sorry about that.
It felt so... It felt a little embarrassing, and I hate to use that word for, like, art, because...
Right.
People have put a lot of time and love and blood, sweat, and tears into this game based on what they say about it in the credits of this game.
Yeah, when I was reading those, I did feel a little bad about my thoughts.
But the thing that felt embarrassing was, like, you want to have Stapleface die, and then later on, Louis dies. Louis is shot in the neck, and he's like decapitated, and Louis is done. Which I was more sad about than I was with Stapleface, because, like, Stapleface, it felt very obvious that's where that was going. Louis was a bit more of a surprise, but in either case, it wanted to have the thoughtful...
The sacrifice.
The sacrificial character deaths of Telltale games, like Walking Dead and Tales from the Borderlands, without knowing how or why those initially worked.
Right. There's just no weight to either of these deaths. I feel like neither of them really add anything to the story. Like...
Mm-hmm.
Like, I liked Stapleface. I didn't want her to die, but also, like, what's gained from her dying? Like, I don't feel that necessary sacrifice. Like you said, it for some reason, just the healing nope, not gonna work now. Sorry. It just felt very... I don't know, would manipulative be the right word? Like, it feels like they're really trying to get that... it's like, oh, don't you feel bad that this character died and there's just nothing you can do? Gotta move on.
Well, I have a personal few qualms with describing narrative emotional moments as manipulative, because it's always true. Like, it's never not manipulative. That's true. That's the point. Points of art and especially anything with narrativity.
You're trying to evoke an emotion.
Yeah, you're being, you could say, manipulated or massaged or guided to feeling certain ways that maybe you would not have felt that day if you didn't take in that piece of entertainment.
Right. I just feel like it comes down to how obvious it is, I guess.
There's obviousness, and you could be obvious even. I think what Kenny is all about when season 2 of Walking Dead, I don't think that's subtle, right?
Right.
When you have to kill Kenny or not.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still impactful despite being transparent and despite very clearly being manipulative, because it's asking you about something that you are actually part of at that point.
Yeah.
It's asking you to think, oh, how do you feel about this? And when Stapleface dies, not only am I unlikely to feel anything about it, because we just haven't been hanging out with Stapleface, and it seemed like her whole deal was to kind of sacrifice herself for Anu.
Right.
But there was nothing I as a player could have done, so like the narrative choice aspect of this game was failed in that moment.
Yeah.
Compare it to what's his name from last season, who died on the space, the rocket.
Oh, I can't believe
Scooter? Is it
Scooter? That's it. Yeah, Scooter. I felt bad about Scooter dying.
Well, that whole scene was so impactful.
Yeah.
Because every aspect of how it works is like, it showed you why, oh, you really are messed up here. You can't do anything.
Yeah.
And it showed you a character that you had been through things with. It's a character whose death is tragic and unavoidable and sad, and it had like just having Fiona there was exactly the right person to be there.
Yeah.
And then and then that's it. And then he's dead, and you feel the weight of that so heavily.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like I feel like getting rid of Stapleface from the story is like chipping paint off a wall. It's
like she was barely there to begin with.
That absence of weight.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I feel like you would be upset about this. When they were showing at the end of the episode people on Promethea dying, they showed Octavio's friends.
Yeah.
Like the demolitions expert and the girl.
They really just fucked off in this story, didn't they?
They were not part of the story. They were not part of it.
It makes you think that they're going to have some sort of role in that first episode. Like, whether or not it was going to be, like, big or not is something. But, like, they don't do anything after that.
Yeah, I don't mind characters not being part of it after they've shown up. I think that's fine. But, like, these characters, both of those people, are so much cooler than anyone else we're following. I just want to be there.
I just want to see have them be the group we're playing as.
Yeah, I kind of feel like maybe they're trying to set them up in sort of a similar way that original Tales from the Borderlands did with Zero showing up in that first episode.
Right.
Where it's just like, oh, this is a really cool guy. Yeah, I think for similar reasons, they don't understand why Zero was cool. They know the what of what the Tales from the Borderlands is, but I don't know if they know the why. And
yeah,
they did not make something that aimed for the same goals as original Tales.
Yeah,
they just didn't get there.
You know what? I'll say this. If they announced tomorrow that they're doing a new Tales from the Borderlands starring this group of Octavio's friends, I wouldn't be excited. like I'm sitting here saying like, yeah, I'd rather play as them, but even now after all of this, I wouldn't want to play it if they did another one with them.
Well, I mean, they could do it about literally anything, and the thing that I would want to know was, like, okay, well, how did you react to feedback about this narrative?
Right, yeah.
Like, why are you doing another one? Just because you want to? Because I don't think it sold well.
Yeah, you guys better take some lessons to heart if you're doing another one.
Yeah. So they're all together. They go to Susan Coldwell's office, and she's at this point just become complete arch. She's a completely gone, mentally evil business lady, right. And just kills literally every person on Promethea.
Yeah, whoops.
Yeah.
Well, some are just mortally wounded.
Yeah, that's true. They did make a point of saying that, and I wonder why that
just as
happened.
A gag, just to be silly and funny.
Well, I guess maybe they had to do it because later on they do like more let's kill everybody, and you have to see that. Like you have to be able to understand that that's happening in order for it to feel like anything.
Right, you have to have some people left over to die later.
Yeah. And Coldwell's thing is like, okay, I did this to the planet. You can't possibly be fine leaving this here. So give me the crystal, and then we'll use it. But that process would kill Anu. She would dissolve. Her body would dissolve, leaving on the crystal there. And then you're given a choice.
Ooh.
Huh? Wait, what?
I said, ain't that a shame?
Oh yeah. Yeah. You're given a choice. You can do three things. You can merge with the crystal, even though everyone's saying, "Hey, dude, don't do that." That's and the crystal's saying, if you unite the two halves right now, you, Anu, will basically every part of you will just completely dead. You will very die. All of your humanity will be gone. Or you can go along with what Coldwell's saying, or you can take Octavio's advice, which is to try to break the device. So what did you do?
I went with what Octavio was saying. I didn't merge with the crystals.
Oh, okay. Tell me about it.
Oh, so it sounds like
I did not do that.
So Anu just says, I'm not going to do that. I'll listen to Octavio. And so she breaks free out of the grasp, and they just... So Octavio uses his Echo Dex to call maintenance for the ship, and he's like put on hold multiple times, and it takes forever for him to get through to anyone. Gags like that. And then I guess when he finally gets through, they just like reboot the station.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Then so Susan Coldwell absorbs the two crystals, and she turns into a big scary alien monster.
Susan Coldwell absorbs the two crystals. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean, none of this happened.
Oh, wow. So that sounds like a big difference. What happened for you?
Well, so I went with obeying the shard.
Right.
Because the shard was making the argument of like, yeah, you'll die, but literally everyone else in the planet and will live, and we can kill Susan Coldwell, and we will just everything will be great because of the power that we'll be able to have, and you'll die for it. And I thought, yeah, it makes sense. It just sounds like a good deal. Like I think I would do that in real life. I would die in order to save a whole planet from dying. That feels just. That feels balanced to me.
Yeah, the thing about this choice was I feel like both sides felt like okay choices, because that one you picked really does feel more in line with what Anu would do.
Yeah.
But I didn't do it. I didn't want to.
Yeah, that's fair.
I just like the idea that for once she would listen to her brother.
I think this choice is a little tainted by the idea of like, okay, I can say whatever I want, but I'm not sure it'll actually go that way if I try it.
Right.
Which doesn't really give you the choice. It gives you, I guess, a more realistic version of choices, which is you can try whatever you want, and we'll see. But what happens is you just like levitate the red hurt crystal out of the machine. You put it in yourself, and then you become a very wild mess of a creature called Anahadium Anu.
Yeah, I got Anahadium Susan.
Interesting. Yeah, so Anahadium Anu just starts talking about things, and through the voice of the crystal, they're like, okay, so everything that Anu was thinking about, everything that Anu really wanted, we're going to now accomplish. So they just like cut to Reese on Atlas, and all of his jabbers are loose. Like, that's what Anu really wanted. All of the jabbers in any lab are now loose.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anu's dream fulfilled.
And then the crystals say, like, okay, and we're going to get rid of all these instruments of death. And this is a weird scene. All of the guns start glowing. Just like all of the guns that there are.
Uh-huh.
Did this happen for you?
No.
So all the guns start glowing, and then snap, they turn into tacos. Any machine used to kill anyone was turned into tacos. Even Octavio's Echo Dex was turned into tacos.
Ooh.
And people were... Fran and Octavio got really mad about this, and they were like, You can't do that. But then I'm thinking, like, well, this is good. What?
Yeah, tacos for all.
Tacos and no guns? Why are you mad? And I was reminded that this is Borderlands, and like, oh, you have to be into guns to like this. And like, I get it. I forgot. I've been brought back to earth a little bit in these characters being upset that their guns aren't there.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy different than what happened to me, but mine did involve tacos as well in a way.
And that's weird. And then the spaceship starts plummeting toward Promethea, and Anahadium Anu does not make any effort to actually reverse the hurt ray on the planet because it's not even explained well. It just makes it seem like, oh, this thing has no feelings, and it's just like they're working toward life in general, but one planet's life does not really tip the scales at all for this guy.
Right.
So they're fine with it.
Don't worry, something about my big climax doesn't make much sense either.
Okay, yeah. So I'll tell you how this one ends after you tell me how yours starts.
Okay. So once Susan Coldwell becomes Anahadium Susan, oh wait, no, that happens after. So this might be why you didn't get Fran beating the shit out of Susan. That happened for me. But so they're trying to. The ship is also colliding towards Promethea, but they're trying to stop it. So Octavio's using his Echo Decks that he got from Susan Coldwell's office to call the maintenance people to get the ship under control. But he's also trying to shut down the Doomsday device. So Anu is using her goggles to figure out the password for it. And for some reason, her goggles just decide they don't want to cooperate.
Sure.
Like, they just say, no, you know what? You've been real saucy throughout this whole game.
What?
So, I'm not gonna help you now. And then Octavia throws a rock at her face, which activates her goggles and lets her do it.
Cool.
Yeah, and so she's looking up the password for the Doomsday device, and the password is taco, and then guess what the fourth one is?
Money.
Taco.
Oh, shit. I should have guessed taco.
Yeah, that's where you fucked up.
Yeah.
So I guess they shut down the weapon and somehow like reverse the hurt ray.
Uh-huh. Oh, they do? Okay.
I guess so. It's not really explained well. It's just all of a sudden the planet's fine.
Yeah, they do that for me as well, but I got something of a scene showing at the end of it all, the crystals leave Anahadium Anu, and then they sort of like zoom off into space on their own, and they do say that they're gonna fix the planet.
Does Anu just disintegrate into nothing, into dust?
No.
Ooh, that's what happens to Susan. She just crumbles.
No, they give back Anu for reasons that I think are actually good, and I really like this scene, and it's like the one redeeming part of the episode for me that I am now sensing you didn't get at all. So
yeah,
it just seems worse for you.
Yeah, it seems like your ending was the better one.
Who's to say?
Yeah, who knows? Who's to say? So yeah. Octavio calls maintenance, and they try to get the ship under control. It doesn't work. Susan turns into an even crazier creature.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, she just turns into a crazier creature. They stop her. they pull the crystals out of her and she disintegrates into nothingness. Oh, you know what it is? They try to use Anu's vacation device to get her out of there.
Oh, okay.
So Octavio has to destroy his Echo Dex because it has the crystal from the beginning. They need to get it to work. And so they try to send Susan somewhere else, but I guess it doesn't work and just ends up mutating her into a different crazy creature. But yeah, they destroy her after the crystals leave. The crystals go out into space, and then the ship plummets down to Promethea.
Okay, so the ship does plummet down to Promethea in mine too.
Yeah.
So after in mine, after Anahadium Anu turns all the weapons into tacos, they say, you know what? Anyone who's ever killed anyone, I'm now sentencing to death. And Fran immediately just bursts into dust.
Whoa!
Yeah. As does pretty much everyone on Promethea. There's a news report where the news anchor woman is saying, yeah, and it looks like people who are targeted for being murderers are now evaporating, which is tough because here on Promethea, literally everyone is a murderer.
Wow.
Which makes me wonder how they figured it out. Like, how do you know that?
Yeah.
If they're all murderers.
That's a crazy ending.
It's not an ending. Because that's what I was referring to when I said more everyone is going to die. It's the second everyone died. So it's a hurt ray at first. So later, when Anahadium Anu just, I'm feeling kind of funny, Mr. Starks, out of existence, you know at that point that, oh, now they're double gone. And that's how good storytelling is told. Redundancy.
That's true. We've been saying it.
And at that point, so Fran's gone. Susan Coldwell has long been shot with the hurt beam and just like immediately killed. Wow. As soon as Anu like transforms, she says, "Hey Fran, whatever you're going to say to Susan Coldwell right now will be the last thing she ever hears." And Fran says, "Oh, right now? I'm not ready. I thought I'd have more time." And then Anu says, "That'll do." And then just point blank shoots Coldwell in the face with a ray, and she's just gone.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. But then
so
after
Anu
that, Fran's gone.
So Fran just is gone from that.
And Fran's gone.
What about
Susan
Anu?
Coldwell happened before. Well, Anu's just being there with the crystals in her.
Right, okay.
She's all...
I guess that makes sense. She wouldn't make herself evaporate.
Yeah, no, she's all... she's basically already gone. The crystals have taken over her form, but she's basically gone. And then it's just Octavio talking to the crystals. And that's it. And...
So Fran dies before the ship even plummets back to Promethea.
Well, hang on.
Okay.
Because they have a conversation, and I can't just tell you every part of the conversation because it's long. But Octavio relates to these crystals in a way that I thought was well done and earned and felt good and made me really like Octavio, at least Octavio's character arc through this 5-episode story. That's the one surprise they got me on. They actually turned it around on Octavio. They still made him pretty excruciating to watch in the whole middle, but at the end he's all right.
Yeah, I didn't get that at all. For me, Octavio was just like really stupid for most of it.
Yeah.
Like there's a part where he's calling the maintenance guy, but anytime he's put on hold, he gets elevator music that he'll like stand up, expose his location, and dance to, and then Susan Coldwell would shoot at him, and then he would he would duck back down, and he does it like 3 times.
That's some Sam and Max stuff. I feel like Max would do that.
Yeah, which would be great if we were playing Sam and Max. And not at the big climax of this big Borderlands story. I just thought, boy, Octavio, huh?
So in the end, Octavio proves if you, the player, remember, or like Grunty's furnace fun, like various aspects of Anu and Octavio's relationship at the end of the episode, at the end of the season. They're like quizzing you on a bunch of different things. Anahadium Anu asks Octavio, what did I call the device? And like you can remember what you said for that or not. And I did. I got a perfect score.
Wow, look at you.
And you can prove with Octavio, I'm kind of stupid, but I was paying attention because I love you, Anu. And then like Anu's personality comes back into the monster thing for a bit. And then they have like a convene. And then the crystals leave Anu's body. Anu's fine now.
Cool.
And the crystals are like, my planet needs me. And they go away. But they do undo the hurt beam at that point. And everyone that they like dusted out of existence for being a murderer is brought back. So now Fran's back.
Wow, yeah, this sounds like a much more fulfilling ending than the one I got.
And then they crash into it. And then we get a time skip.
Yeah, a year into the future.
A year into the future. For me, Anu and Octavio are sibling therapists.
Yeah, I got that as well.
Oh, okay. There was a big gap there. I was wondering if you were just in shock.
Yeah, I just thought you were going to keep going. No way.
No, they're just sibling therapists. That is both siblings who are therapists and therapists for siblings.
It's got a double meaning there. That's pretty clever.
Yeah. I think neither of them should be therapists. Both because they haven't shown me they'd be good at it, and also they have other things going on. Right,
yeah. Well, maybe on Promethea no one's good at being a therapist. Maybe they're the best ones there.
That could be true. Yeah, I don't know much about Promethea. Maybe therapy as an institution is just not established.
Yeah, so even if they're not like great at it, I guess at least they're enough.
But only for siblings.
Yeah, only for siblings.
And then they go visit Fran's grave because somehow, either in that crash or just within the last year, Fran died.
Yeah, that also happened to me. Isn't that strange? That seems... Die? I had that written down. I was like, what did Fran do to die?
What did I do? What?
Yeah, you played the game wrong.
So I'm looking at your choices.
Yeah.
You and 35% of players died as Fran.
Right, yeah.
So not even a majority died. Most people saved her somehow.
Yeah, it turns out that there's multiple endings, and each one has at least one of your team die. I think there's only one ending where there's 2 endings where everyone survives. But there's 3 endings, one for each of the characters dying.
I'm glad you checked on this. I didn't check on
Yeah.
that.
And I think what it comes down to is just your relationship scores. And I guess if your relationships with Fran weren't that good, she has to bite the bullet. She has to die.
All right.
You played the game wrong, and now she dies.
I guess I played the game as Fran wrong.
Yeah.
Huh.
Isn't that just too nutty?
Yeah, I wrote down in my notes, Fran's not really dead. There's no way they're gonna get me on this one. And then the game ended, and Fran's dead.
You know what? I was thinking they were gonna pull another "Did you miss me?"
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's what this whole game's been about.
Yeah.
That okay, that was a cop out, and then you see Fran with an eye patch hiding behind a tree, like, yeah, they think I'm dead.
You know what? That would have been... I would have liked the ending if it was that she's just fucking with him.
So we both had Fran die, but I guess anyone can die?
Yeah, there's endings for Octavio dying, there's an ending for Anu dying, and then there's 2 endings where everyone survives, but one of them they just all go their separate ways and have their own lives going on, and the other one has them all stick together. So I guess that one's the right ending.
Well, I mean, we were talking a bit about how in Walking Dead Season 2, there's like a happy ending, which if you think about it more is very clearly wrong.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's not good to have these people stay together. Why should Fran be friends with these siblings?
I mean, what else is she gonna do?
Yogurt. She does yogurt on her own. And that's fine. She has Fergus.
That's just the way it is. That's true. She does have Fergus.
Yeah. Speaking of, this is a good joke. If you have Fran die, I guess, they show the tombstone next to her and they reveal that it was in Fran's will to have Fergus be brought to her to the afterlife.
Yeah.
So he had to die also.
He didn't... Boy, he just didn't even do anything wrong.
Well, I think it's free labor. I think that's part of his thing. He's okay with
that's true. He
being
signed
sacrificially killed as part of someone's will.
It's the job he signed up for.
Yeah. And Anu and Octavio are talking about that like, yeah, he had to die.
Yeah, that's just the way it was. That's the way it played out.
So we do get a little like post-credit, or not post-credit, but like post-ending scene where we see Timmy flying around the cosmos with the crystals.
Yeah.
And Timmy says that the crystals can join it, so they do, and now they're all integrated. And Fiona is revealed to be hunting Timmy, integrated with the crystals.
Yeah.
Fiona from Tales.
She showed up. Oh, she came back. And there wasn't enough time to ruin her.
Yeah, she's unscathed.
For now.
And then the credits play, and then there's a new Lewis Cole song, Things May Not Work Out How You Thought, which only came out a few months ago, and is a great song. Lewis Cole is one of the 2 people in Nowhere, so this is like the second Lewis Cole song here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's a fitting song. Things didn't play out how you thought they were gonna.
Things may not work out how you thought. Yeah, that's it. And then the credits go, and this is a very interesting approach to credits.
Yeah, I wrote that down too.
So, yeah, at first there's like a few paragraphs. We talked about this in episode 1 when I saw it for the first time.
Right.
Just about like, hey, we developed this during the lockdown. We tried to put a lot of humanity into it, which I think definitely comes across. And then they list everyone's name in alphabetical order, regardless of what their actual job was, which I understand why, but it's frustrating.
Yeah.
And then what I didn't see was it looks like they invited everyone on the team to just write whatever they wanted as a message.
Just some sort of message from, and it didn't look like it was everybody. Like
it's like a yearbook quote.
Yeah.
Yeah, not everyone did it, but they could have.
Yeah, it was cute. I liked it.
Yeah, some of these are just like, hey, thanks for playing, and I couldn't have done it without this person who helped me, which is nice. But some of them, let me see. To Colin, thank you for always refilling my water bottle when I work from home. I could not have accomplished this without your tireless work. Emoticon heart, Michelle Garza. Thank you, Michelle Garza, for that.
Thank you. Yeah, I only wrote down one.
Yeah?
I don't know how this last name's pronounced, but it's Brian K.O., I guess. It's spelled K-A-O. And all he wrote was page 197 slaps.
Yeah, of what do you think? The script?
I don't know. I like the not knowing, though.
We've got Nick Kahn here saying, vibing it and keeping it tight. If you need me, I'm on my mobile. Big ups to my moms and pops and brothers.
Big ups.
Vibing it and keeping it tight. If you need me, I'm on my mobile. That is a McElroy Brothers reference, confirming the other thing that I said was definitely a McElroy's reference from earlier in the season.
Wow. How did you feel being so validated?
I felt like I was vibing it and keeping it tight.
Awesome.
Stephen Fast said, I didn't work on this game, but I'm sure it's great.
Thanks, Stephen.
Thanks, Stephen. I also have a picture of page 197 slaps.
That got me. I love the mystery of it.
Brad Cierzega says, I would like to personally thank Chipotle for providing me nourishment for so many years. I don't know what I would do without you, Chipotle. If you see this, please send me free Chipotle so that I continue to work on amazing games. Thank you, Chipotle.
You know what? I respect the attempt to get free Chipotle.
I respect Gearbox just letting anyone put whatever in there.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to get your legal team to agree, yeah, okay, we can just use real Coca-Cola in this movie or whatever. But through this loophole of just putting whatever they want in the credits, they can talk about Chipotle by name 3 sentences in a row.
And ask for free Chipotle.
I think every game should do that now. I think I want to see this in every game.
It's fun. I know they kind of do that in Crash Tag Team Racing. So in the credits for Crash Tag Team Racing, you can click on certain people in the credits' names. Not all of them, but some of them. And Dr. Cortex and Engine will have something to say about all of them. And some of them are special messages they had to say. Some are just comments on the person. It's fun. I'd like little credits messages.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's hundreds of people just saying things in the credits of this game. I'm very glad this game got made, if for that alone.
Yeah, that really is the highlight.
No, that's mean.
It is.
Yeah.
No, you know what? I'm glad these people had fun making this product.
Do you have any final thoughts for New Tales from the Borderlands or the Borderlands series in general before we move on to other things?
So I was looking at how to get some of the Vaultlanders that I didn't get.
Okay, yeah, because I'm missing 4, and I know that one of them's from episode 1, where I didn't get all of them.
Okay.
So I'm missing 3, really.
So I was looking at the list of Vaultlanders locations, and so there are a few of them that you just don't get from the game.
Yes.
Salvador. You get the Salvador Vaultlander by connecting your game with Gearbox Software's Shift service.
Pass.
You can do this in the main menu. Yeah, I didn't.
Okay.
Hot Loader. You can get the Hot Loader Vaultlander by using this new Tales from the Borderlands shift code. And then it has a code to put in.
Oh, you know what? I always have a soft spot for when I can unlock something with a code that could be found on the bottom of a Mountain Dew cap or something. I love that. I know
in Sonic Generations, they have a secret trophy room full of figurines of the characters that you only get from these codes. And I got the codes from just, they just had a list of them on game FAQs. But I think some of the codes for them were like on like things you had to buy and like secrets on websites and stuff. I'm
a sucker for it.
Like
it
that.
Makes me nostalgic for the Banjo-Kazooie Sandcastle codes.
Yeah, it's fun. It's just a fun little thing.
Yeah, or the mystery gift codes in Pokemon.
Oh, I love mystery gift. The next one is Axton. You're
so checked out, Dustin. You're so checked out.
I like mystery.
I love mystery gift.
I do like mystery gift. It's fun. That was a heartfelt statement I said. But Axton, you can get Axton by liking or sharing a specific social media post by Gearbox Software or the official Borderlands channel.
Whoa.
And then there's one, Flack, spelled
I imagine,
F-L-
but like only if you've connected the thing to Shift.
Yeah, it doesn't say that, but I would assume.
Okay.
But the next one is Flack, spelled FL4K, and that was just a pre-order bonus.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, then
I wasn't around to hear about that pre-order bonus, but imagine the difficulty of the the PR team trying to figure out, okay, how do we market a concept like Vaultlanders to people who do not yet know what Vaultlanders is?
They're not going to know what any of this shit is yet.
Because we can't show them a Vaultlander battle. They won't want it anymore.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have wanted to pre-order it had they didn't make it. You know what? If they made it like a character from the first Tales from the Borderlands, which there are some, maybe then it would have been enticing.
Yeah, if it was Handsome Jack, just imagine if it was the biggest potential Borderlands character.
Yeah, but you're just able to get Handsome Jack.
Yeah, I just got Handsome Jack in this episode, and it kind of felt like, really? This is the time for Handsome Jack right now?
Yeah, this feels like it should be a bigger one. This feels like it should be one of the secret code ones.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
All right. Okay, so...
Oh, you can get a Fiona Vaultlander. I didn't get that.
Oh, where do you get that?
During the final chapter of your playthrough, you need to merge with the shard. This ending gave me the Fiona Vaultlander. So I guess you should have gotten it.
Oh, no, maybe I did. I don't know.
I didn't. Oh, you can get 0, too. You need to get a Skatebird score of at least 75% when completing the story, and you get 0.
There are not that many spaces left on my collection of Vaultlanders for all of these things to show up.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the code ones aren't...
Maybe they make new slots appear.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
So you can still get, like, a complete collection.
Yeah, it'll look complete.
Yeah.
Yeah. Smash Bros. DLC style.
Yeah, exactly. Great game. Great.
Smash Bros? Yeah. Yeah, no, it's good. Okay, let's head into our segments. We're killing this horse.
Segments.
We're killing this horse's soul.
I can't wait till this horse is dead and buried in the ground.
What's your golden moment?
Fiona showing up at the end. I like Fiona.
Mine was that they had to kill Fergus because it was in Fran's will.
That's a good one. That's funny. I like that. Oh, you know what? Something we didn't even talk about once was Brock has quite a presence in this episode.
Yeah.
I guess it's fine that we skipped over him. It's not like he's like a major part, but like
Well, is
Octavio,
your weekly guy or something?
No, but I did have a quote that I thought was pretty funny. Not from Brock, but about Brock.
Mm-hmm.
So it's when Brock is all souped up and he's shooting at just whoever he sees. And one of the Tediore guards says, he's going to be so tuckered out later.
Yeah.
Poor little guy.
Yeah.
I like the Tediore guards just having that empathy for him.
Or even that thought that, like,
yeah,
he's going to be tired.
He's going to be so tuckered out later. Oh yeah, and Brock, they just shut down Brock. They just say, yeah, you don't get to be a gun anymore. Your safety's permanently on, and you just are, you're a paperweight now.
Yeah, I liked that.
Yeah, that's fine. Fuck Brock.
Yeah, I want him to not move.
Yeah.
If I had an ungolden moment, it would be in the montage after the crystal sort of undid the healing, or the hurt beam on the planet.
Oh yeah.
They show that Juniper's alive again. So, like, even things that had nothing to do with this made everyone that died ever come back.
That seems like a bad idea.
Yeah.
Some people probably died who were really bad.
Yeah, and I don't like that moment because I feel like the writers are just trying to say, like, hey, look, happy now.
Look, you can have your cake and eat it too.
They're not thinking about what they're showing me. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that to Juniper if I have Juniper dead.
Yeah.
That's not... Maybe it's just a complete oversight for the people who might have not had Juniper die.
Yeah, who cares about your choices? I mean, I didn't get that. It didn't show Juniper come back to life for me, so you must have fucked up somewhere.
Well, it was Paco at the taco store thing.
Yeah, they
and
never.
And then just
like
Juniper crawls over his. It's less than 1 second. He just crawls over his shoulder, and Paco's like, and that's it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Choice cut.
It was whether or not to merge with the shard. It is something I had to sit and think about because I thought both choices had had some good reasoning to them.
Mine too. It's a good one.
Yeah, because I do feel like your choice, what you went with, merging with the shards, that does seem more in line with what Anu would want.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see that, but I also liked that I could just say no, and like the reason I chose it was just because of earlier, like Anu just being a total shithead to Octavio. I just thought, you know what? Let's have Anu give Octavio the benefit of the doubt for once. And I like that. I liked that either way seemed logical.
Weekly guy?
The TDR guards. No one else really brought anything, but they were funny.
Yeah, I feel like all of them being different guys is hurting it for me a little bit. If there was one really funny guy, I would put him.
Oh, you know what? If I had to pick one TDR guard, I'm going to go with the one that was talking with Octavio at the beginning.
He's good. He's really great.
You can just sense his uncomfortableness so much, but he sticks to it.
So,
who was yours?
I wrote Lewis Cole, which is not fair to the video game to put real life musician Lewis Cole, who I was listening to before I played this game, appear in the first episode and the last episode. That's a character arc.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, Die Right Now and things. Yeah, no.
So let's say if you had to pick an actual character.
Yeah, I felt like that might not be fair.
Well,
Octavio.
I just also Octavio. Okay, if I got the scene you got, I probably would have gone with Octavio too, but I did not get anything like that.
I think from the running around with the gun pointing at his own head, taking shots in his thighs just to prove that he would shoot himself, and also like all the things he does at the end when he's talking to the monster in the Anu version of that monster. Octavio was a pretty good character in this episode.
Yeah, I just got him acting stupid and dancing around and giving away his location and getting shot at by Susan Coldwell.
Yeah, you didn't get perfect. You didn't get liquid Octavio like I did.
Yeah,
so
I played the game wrong.
Played the game. Wow, you really can just do it wrong in this one.
Yeah, it doesn't matter like what you feel like should happen. It's just what the game decides is the way you should have done it.
I wonder if that was a thought in some point in development of like, maybe in this one you can do it wrong and we'll use that to emphasize certain points more, but then like the points just weren't emphasized and it just felt mean that you could do it wrong.
Yeah. So this episode, not the worst, but I feel like it annoys me more than some of the others.
Well, yeah, I think that's fair because it's like...
It's the big final episode.
This episode reveals the hand that they were playing the whole time, so even if it's pretty good as an episode, it makes the game worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's been New Tales from the Borderlands. Thank you, Gearbox.
Yeah, thanks.
And our entirety with the Borderlands franchise, unless they make another one soon.
Yeah, maybe they will.
Maybe. We'll have to play it.
Oh, man.
So, Dustin, what are we playing next?
I believe the plan... I believe we said what we're playing next. We're going to be doing the Michonne miniseries for The Walking Dead. Is that right?
I believe that's right. Yeah, the 3-episode Michonne TV show / comic book main continuity tie-in game of The Walking Dead. I'm excited.
I'm excited too because I've never played it before.
Yeah, so it's definitely the Walking Dead thing that most people who aren't catching up with it in real time skip because it doesn't continue the core Clementine continuity. But yeah, I mean, it could be great. It's still Walking Dead from Telltale, so
yeah. I get it. I do. It is a little deflating that it doesn't really tie into the story that I'm so connected to, the story that I want to see continue. But yeah, I'm sure it'll still be good.
I bet if it was coming out while I was paying attention to The Walking Dead, I would feel that way. But now, just looking at it in retrospect, I kind of feel like, oh, well, the whole story was finished, and then also there's this other thing.
Yeah, it's just like
a bonus.
It's just a bonus thing you get.
Yeah. I don't have much of a connection to the TV show. I watched the first 2 seasons. I don't remember the character Michonne, and it was a very long time ago when I did that, so...
Yeah, I've never seen the TV show or read the comics, so Michonne is brand new to me.
Yep. Well, we'll tell you all about it next week, listener, and until then, be really nice, and then die.
And bring your intern with you.